So you will create the map and the name of the map will be Plateau of India. How do we map Plateau of India? Please see it here. You are not copying it down from here. Pause down all of you. First you are copying it. Listen to me very carefully. Map heading is Plateau of India. We have learned the first physiographic unit of our country as plateau. I know plateau is an upland which has got flat top. It can be extensible. What we normally do in map marking is that we misinterpret that map is only two-dimensional image. I am not having height shown here. I hope you understand. Say for example, if you are supposedly marking Himalayas here like this. We have drawn the diagram so many times, you are already comfortable with it. As we draw in diagram, I am drawing the scenery as I used to do in school time. How I'll draw Himalayas? I'll draw it like. Is it the right way of drawing Himalayas on map? No. Because you are drawing these triangles to show height. But on this map, height will be shown like this. What you are doing is you are showing more north and south extension because it is two-dimensional surface. Yes or no?
Yes.
So the trick that with which you can mark up plateau, you have to decide. Examiner has asked you which plateau. I give you the example for that. So supposedly examiner have asked you to mark. See, I have marked it here. Examiner have asked you to mark Karnataka plateau. So you know that Karnataka plateau will include Malanads and then a big broad box of Bangalore, Mysore plateau. Yes or no? So if Karnataka plateau is asked, then my marking should be like this. Calling your hockey stick that I said, because Karnataka plateau will be including Malanads, Bangalore, Mysore. But if I am marking three plateaus separately, best way to mark is Malanads are more the north-south aligned, Bangalore, Mysore plateau are more. So you have to decide what is the plateau given. Your choice. Map of India, you are relocating it, or you are simply taking the last few pages of your registers to list out the items in the class. You have to mark it as your room work, homework, whatsoever is applicable to you. You have to take it on daily basis. 5, 6, 10 items that we take up. Marking it to begin with will be hesitant work, but then you have to begin to mark. You have to be familiar with the shoreline, the international border of India, so that once you get the item in exam, and how do we write the features about it, geographical, economic, ecological significance, that we gradually build up. And I'll make you understand how. So we begin with plateau of India from today. What are the plateaus that we will be marking today? I'll go very sequentially. We first learned central upland. So I want you to be there on map of India, and I have not marked all of them. I have just given you a lead to this. So map of India, central highland we began with. So with Aravalis we talked about one plateau. Can you quickly give me the name?
Mewar.
Aravali ke saath Malwa plateau bana do. Mewar plateau. So the first plateau for you to mark is Mewar plateau. And please see your map. My map do not have Mewar plateau. Mewar plateau goes with the alignment of Aravali. It is visible on map of India. You will create a small arc east-west line. I hope you are understanding. And one very important thing as you are beginning with your map. In examination, the number of map items have been varying. Mountains, I will be marking 20, 30 mountains together. So what attitude, what habit I develop is that I give examiner, because this is what I always do. I'll write it as number 1, and here I'll write number 1 is Telangana plateau. Number 2 is Malwa plateau. You are creating trouble for exam. Develop the habit of writing the name right at the position. You can avoid writing the name right at position if, because this has also happened in examination. Sometimes in the school, the map that is given to you in examination, it is right here on map itself that the list of the items are printed. On map itself, they have printed the items. Now on map itself, 1, 2, 3, 4 is already printed. Then you can mark 1 and 2 and 4 and 6. I hope it is comfortable. But if it is not marked, my advice is write name at the location. Some of them are too small. Stretch out arrow, write down. Develop the habit of writing. So the first plateau for you to mark is Mewar plateau. The second plateau that will mark is from Vindhyan range. So please see map of India itself, because it will be easier for you to transfer it from map of India. Vindhyan range, we selected Vindhyan scarpland. That is a range, you will not mark it. Immediate south of Vindhyan scarpland, are you noticing Bandeir plateau located? Bandeir plateau is Vindhyan dissected. It will go small dash, southwest to northeast, and then go east. big east-west aligned dash. Baghelkhand. I have marked it on the map. If you are finding it very difficult to mark it on blank map, begin with. And how to use grid map, ये भी बता देते हैं. Quickly creating. I am going very rough so that you can see. I have given you grid like this. I have given you grid like this. Involving the alignment of latitudes and longitude, I have created the grid with 1 centimeter. आप करोगे क्या ध्यान? आप इस grid में horizontally या vertically, that is latitudinally or longitudinally, you start naming them as. I have got this as A, this as B, this as C, this as D, this as E, F, G, H, and then longitudinally what I am doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many grids are? And now what you are doing? You are doing the same thing on your map of India, atlas. 1 centimeters ke gap. Once you have created it, what it will give you? I can see 1 and A combined, Mewar. 4 and 6 combined, 4 or D combined. You are marking Telangana. Are you getting it? So it will take some time to begin with. But after few practices, and if you find it easy, physical items as mountains and plateaus, we can have some deviation here and there. It will not be difficult. Peaks it will, because if I change the position of peak from even 1 millimeter, K2 will become Gasherbrum. Yes or no? So position should be more appropriate. Where grid, I hope it is comfortable, so decide on it. Ultimate thing is that I should be perfect in marking and I should save time with this question, because this question is no longer most marks fetching. It is most time saving. Okay? So first plateau to be marked is Mewar, second plateau to be marked is Bandeir, third plateau to be marked is Baghelkhand. Bandeir and Baghelkhand is a constituent of Vindhyan. So what are they? Limestone Paleozoic horst. And what is Mewar? It is conical feature of Aravalli plateau eroded and it's a table land dissected piece of Aravalli. This much we know so. The next plateau that you will take up into arch or dotted ovals is your choice. Both the ways it is correct. It's absolutely your choice. After this, I take support of Satpura. And in Satpura, you have to take the plateau which is missing on map of India. So quickly jump on to map of Madhya Pradesh. See Satpura on physical map of Madhya Pradesh. Physical map Madhya Pradesh located Satpura. Can you see that we have in our content building wrote Gwaligarh and then Mahadev? In between them, are you finding Betul Plateau? So Betul Plateau is of Satpura and you are marking Betul Plateau. Okay? So Central Highlands. How many plateaus we are marking? One is Mewar, one is Bandeir, one is Baghelkhand, one is Betul Plateau. So Central Highland do have table lands, they are marked. Okay? In the continuity of it, which are the other plateaus that you will be marking? Limited number, because we are beginning with it. Back to map. It will give you continuity of marking, so we are moving towards east. So after you have marked Betul Plateau and you have marked Baghelkhand with Vindhyan, automatic step is towards east. So small arc for Chota Nagpur, northern small arc for Hazaribagh, southern small arc for Ranchi Plateau. I hope you are understanding. And all arcs with Hazaribagh, Chota Nagpur, Ranchi Plateau. Is this comfortable? Are the plateaus that you are marking today. We'll try to complete the plateau map tomorrow or day after, depending on how the is going. Mark these items in your practice map. Map heading will be plateaus of India. Items name should be written at the location. Okay, done for today. How was the class? Continental islands are detached parts of mainland due to rise in the mean sea level.
India developed at a place with a little canyon channel on the side of the Ganga Canyon.
Canyon channels are the passages by which the deposits or the materials are being transported and eventually deposited.
Like they are spreading out. And then still like
when peninsular India is asked, you will not go offshore. Peninsula is onshore. If they are asking you specifically with offshore, then only box item of Konkan plain, box item of Konkan plains. All these west flowing rivers are small rivers, though deposits, they fail to qualify as delta forming rivers because of their coarser texture. I have not asked you to mark it as per the states, but still we opened up map of Madhya Pradesh to locate Betul Plateau. Betul Plateau is constituent of Satpura, and in the continuity of it I asked you to go back to map of India because with Vindhyans you will mark Baghelkhand, and Baghelkhand one step east. You will encounter Hazaribagh to Chota Nagpur to Ranchi Plateau. So that will give you the east-west plateau demarcation. Rise in mean sea level submerged the valley carved out by more extensive Ganga in geological past. That is the reason explained as developed first, inundated later. Indian relief, 4 categories of Indian relief. Mainland has got 3 of them. When I take reference of these chronologically, of course it is very difficult for us to find one relief with one time. I do have imprint. Older the relief, true false, virtual class T or F. Older the relief, more possibility of chronological multiplicity compared to younger relief. True. Can you prove it?
Azoic has multiple formations of Cenozoic, but the Paleozoic, so Cenozoic nalas have less formations.
When I talk about the reference of the study that is related to Azoic construct, that is when I am taking up the reference of the development that is related to Azoic formation. I have imprint that is incorporating Paleozoic, Cenozoic. But when I talk about Cenozoic relief, I am only talking about development. So very clearly we need to understand that the developmental processes of the older relief has got more possibilities of imprints of the subsequent geological time. Oldest physiographic unit is identified to be Indian plateau. Open up map in front of you. Map in front of you. Precisely for last 3 classes I have been repeating it, so it should be very easily done with all of us. Indian plateau means central highlands and peninsular plateau. It's a physiographic region that can be comprised of hills, mountains, plains, tableland, all of them. We have understood the difference between relief and physiographic region. What is our focus of learning? It is physiographic region. First physiographic region of our country is called Indian Plateau. It is divided as Central Highland comprised of Aravalis, Vindhyans and Satpuras. It is Peninsular Plateau, that is the true cratonic block, that is again locationally subcategorized. It helps us in visualizing and building up the content well. Is as a Deccan Plateau and the other upland. Deccan Plateau bounded by Ghats and southern hills with interior upland, and other uplands includes Far Eastern upland, Singhbhum Craton, Bundelkhand Craton and Kathiawar. When we talk about the northern mountain wall, they are the young fold cordilleras of Eurasian belt. That is the reason we took reference of Pamirs. Pamirs are not the tallest plateau of the world. Tallest plateau of the world is Tibetan Plateau. Tibetan Plateau has got average elevation of 4,900 meters, making them the tallest plateau of the world. But Pamirs are called roof of the world. Why Pamirs are given this designation? Because it is not, it's the buckling point of the young fold mountain. So west you go, it is Hindu Kush, Suleiman. East you go, it is Kunlun Shan and Himalayas. Kunlun Shan is not in our domain because we are not learning physiography of China. South of Tibet, Himalayas are our principal concern. But are we concerned only with Himalayas when it comes to another mountain wall? No. I require Trans-Himalayas, I require Purvanchal. So how many subdivides we have applied another mountain wall into? It is subdivided into 2. One that is developed by Indian plate converging with Eurasian Himalayas, and 2 that is Burmese plate convergence with Indian, that is Purvanchal. I do have got syntaxical bends of Suleiman, but that don't relate to Indian Union territory. Himalayas further were divided into 3, your help. Shivalik. Trans-Himalayas, True Himalayas and Shivalik. Which are the 2 ranges that makes True Himalayas? Himadri and Himachal. That is the reason the boundary between Himachal and Shivalik is called main boundary fault. It's main boundary between main Himalayas and Shivalik. What is the boundary of Shivaliks with plains called? Frontal fault, because the term front essentially used in climate is something which is buffer. It is transition from one relief to the other. Am I correct in saying that Himalayan frontal fault depicts transition from mountains to plain? I do have one such imprint with main boundary fault as well. True, false? I repeat my question. Himalayan frontal fault is the transition from one relief to the other. Am I correct in saying that main boundary fault also have one such location of relief transition?
Yes.
Yes, where? Specify. Duars are the location where rivers like Tista descends to plain because we don't have Shivali. Develop that clarity that when you are writing the answer, because these topics are factual. I think all of you will agree. If I don't have names, I don't have anything to write. I need to be aware of names to write. But even then, you can write the answer which examiner will not find that you are bombarding the facts, random facts. You can easily create the organized answer. Of course, answer is all dependent on what is the demand of the question. So we are not following that question answer right now. We are trying to be comfortable with the content of Indian physiographic regions and also Indian relief features. We are handling them simultaneously. Northern mountain wall gave us the reference to add plains because chronologically handling it becomes easier. That peninsular plateau as well as a northern mountain wall have been the sources of rivers. These rivers eventually have developed plains of India. My question, are plains of India only made up of river deposits? No. Are plains of India majorly developed of river deposits? Yes. That is the reason when I talk about plains as a physiographic region, we essentially call it alluvial plains of the country. It is dominantly alluvial plain. Agreed, it is not exclusively alluvial plain. Locationally, they are categorized into two: northern plains and coastal plains. Open up the flow chart of plains. Roof of the world is Pamir North, not Tibetan Plateau. Why Pamir is being given that designation? Because it is not or the buckling point of the tall young fold mountains, both on its edges. So we should not be carried away with why it is called roof of the world. Is it the tallest plateau? No, it isn't. Tibetan Plateau is the tallest plateau. And Tibetan Plateau is third pole of the world. It has 7,000 glaciers, and you already know Indus, Satluj, Sangpo like rivers are rising from Tibetan Plateau. Why, what, climatology. Okay, plains of India, physiographic region number 3, mainland. We are almost halfway done with it. Plains of India is dominantly alluvial lowlands, locationally categorized into two: northern plains and coastal plains. Northern plains are developed by deposition carried on by, and it is still active, deposition by Himalayan as well as peninsular streams. Both based on their location and involved river systems, northern plains are divided into 3 subunits. Help. Transgangetic, Gangetic and Brahmaputra. Transgangetic plain includes Marusthali. Marusthali do not involve fluvial action, will be very wrong for us to say, because I do have dharos. Remind me, what are dharos? Gully erosion. Gully erosion is carried on by small streamlets that are generated during short-lived rainy season in Marusthali. Marusthali is a typical sandy desert, and like any other sandy desert, it is known for sand dunes called dharyans and accumulated rainwater that creates temporary lake. Technical name is playas. In India it is called dhands. And dhands will give us saline alkaline patches, which we'll learn again in soil of India, which we are just inching towards to get onto. When I take reference of Marusthali, it is one of the 2 constituents that are identified with western Rajasthan. Rajasthan as plains is not just Marusthali, it is also Bagar. Bagar is deposited by river Unni. Bagar is alluvial plains known for lesser fertility because of the coarser textured material. Bagar is also in Haryana called Bhiwani, developed by river Ghaggar. Ghaggar and Luni, the inland drainages, have facilitated Bagar. Haryana is not done without chos. What are chos? It is braided pattern of descending streams from Shivalik. And descending streams from Shivalik will include not just Haryana but Punjab. So how many rivers are descending to plain in? I'm changing the name. How many rivers are descending to plain in? Satluj Yamuna plains. You have understood the difference between Trans-Gangetic and Satluj Yamuna plain. How many rivers are descending? Number, virtual class, type the number.
4.
Name them. Ravi, Bias, Satluj, Bhagar. And because 3 of them are descending in Punjab, does Punjab have doabs? How many doabs? 2 doabs. Bis, Bari, which is there with us completely. Bis is there completely with us. Why Bis is there with us? Because Bias confluence with Satluj, right there in Punjab. And Bari is there part with us, part with Pakistan. Because how do we define doabs? Doabs are that low-lying plain which is drained by the rivers of the same system. Am I done with Punjab plains by mentioning Bist, Bari, doabs and chos? No. What is left? Malabar plains, shabash. Northern plains of India is Trans-Gangetic, thus is comprised of, take deep breath, try to imagine, Marusthali, Bagar, Chos, Doabs and in bracket Malabar plains. Gangetic plain, which is the only river system in the northern plains that have got its complete long profile nearly in our country, is identified with 3 subunits: Upper Gangetic, Mid Gangetic and Low Gangetic plain. Upper and Mid Gangetic plain are essentially flood plains and they are categorized into 4: Rohilkhand, Awadh, Mithila, Magad. When I talk about Rohilkhand, Awadh, Mithila, Magad, they are floodplain of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar respectively. But if I have to create content, identify location, then Rohilkhand, Awadh is in Uttar Pradesh, Mithila, Magad is in Bihar. Mithila is much fine textured soil compared to the generally assessed floodplain soil because it is deposited by big Himalayan tributaries of river Ganga. One sample name will also do. River Kosi, River Gandak, we are aware of it. When I talk about Magad plains, it qualifies to be much coarser compared to the floodplain soil. Why? Because small peninsular tributaries of river Ganga is depositing it. We have taken sample of river soil. What was so unique about Magad plain? Very good. Chors or kavartals. They are permanent freshwater lakes, accumulated rainwater which fails to percolate, and because precipitational gain is more than evaporational loss, water has perennial existence. What has facilitated restriction of percolation? Crystalline depressions. And what is the source of those crystalline depressions? It is extension of Singhbhum Craton, more specific Hazaribagh plateau towards southern part of Magad plains. When I get on to West Bengal plains called Lower Gangetic plain, it is truly deltaic plain. Starting from the step where Hooghly branches off from Ganga to the coastal areas where we have noticed Sundarbans. It is all deltaic plain, very fine texture, delta plain, fertile plain. When we take up, Aditi, you have to check your internet speed with you. When I take reference of Sundarbans or entire Hooghly plain, I am not taking up anything else but the deltaic alluvial lowlands. But I cannot complete Lower Gangetic plain without mentioning Rar plains. What is so unique about Rar plains? They are coarser textured because they are deposited by Damodar is example. Statement should be what? Peninsular tributaries of Hooghly as river Damodar. And what is something more specific about Rar? We'll learn that when we learn geological structure of India. We are yet to create the complete demarcation of that because we are separating relief from structure so that our content becomes easier. Brahmaputra plain again is flood plain. Brahmaputra plain technically among the principal constituent of northern plain is considered to be the narrowest part of northern plain. But we know that when I am writing exclusive answer on plains or northern plains of India, my narrowest plains will be Duars. which is called chicken neck of India, because Duars is giving you connectivity to lower Gangetic plain to Brahmaputra plain. Where we learned Duars with Himalayas as the Piedmont location of Himachal. That is the reason we don't repeat, but you need to be intelligent enough to quote up the content carefully. Brahmaputra plain, the narrowest part of northern plain, confined essentially in state of Assam, is floodplains of Brahmaputra river. Floodplain has to be moderate textured, fertile, lowlands, no denial. What is unique feature of Brahmaputra? Majuli Island. Why island is so unique? It is the largest riverine island, and very good Shivansh, anastomostic drainage. Anastomostic drainage is identified to be stable drainage. It's a braided pattern, but it is a stable. This is how we completed northern plains. So how many constituents of northern plains have evolved? Brahmaputra plains, Duars, Rar, Deltaic plain, Mithila plains, Magad plains, Awadh plains, Rohilkhand plains, Chos, Doabs, Bagar and Marustan. And then we moved to coastal plains. Coastal plains are locationally categorized as west and east coast. West has got 3 divides. We are done with the Gujarat. Open up the diagram that you created in the last class. Last step of reminder. Gujarat, the coastal plains, do not directly associate with Arabian Sea. It is rather associated with marginal extension of Arabian Sea called Gulf of Kutch and Gulf of Amba. When I talk about Gulf of Kutch, it is Kutch plain that confines itself in Kutch Peninsula, right here. And what are the features that we associate with Kutch plains? It is emerged shoreline, that retreated Gulf of Kutch. Thus is principally known for salt marshes. What is the name of the salt marshes? Run. It is called Run of Kutch. When my plains name is Kutch, I can simply say Run. What is Run? Run is salt marshes. What is the genesis of salt marshes? Left behind retreated Gulf of Kutch. What is Run of Kutch identified with? It is mouth of inland drainage. Luni is my best example. Any other thing that I can associate with Kutch plains, but dominantly with salt marshes, it incorporates remains of cratonic block called Kutch Hills. Surrounded by salt marshes, those remains have created inland islands, Pacham, Bela, Khadir, important names. Added to it, when I talk about Kutch plains, I do have Bunny plains, very important. It's very small, but it is very important. Bunny plains are not salt marshes, they are grasslands. And Bunny plains are the location where we have wild ass. Yes, no, biome, specialized specimens, so we'll be talking about that. It's grassland. So Bunny plains are example of a typical type of grasses that we are having in the country. Gujarat has Bunny, Rajasthan has got Sabai grasses. Grassland have been started giving separate recognition. I have told you while giving you study plan, in India grasses have always been considered to be part and parcel of forest, like birds have always been considered to be part and parcel of wildlife. And that has been the reason that the grassland and the birds have been subjected to much more higher order of challenges compared to the other counterpart. So there has been a general awakening that birds are different from animals, grasslands are different from forest. There is a requirement of recognizing them separately. So Sabai grass, Bunny grass, they are important constituents that will be utilized. So Bunny plains never miss out in your life. Kutch plains are not completed without mention of creeks. And normally whenever I talk about creeks in such continental locations, they normally involve such high salinity that navigability is restricted. But when I talk about Sar Creek, Pori Creek, Kodia Creek, they are navigable. And just to prove that, I asked you to see Lakhpat. Lakhpat is a minor seaport of our country. Minor seaports falls in jurisdiction of concerned state government. Gujarat's major port is Kandla. And minor seaports are plentiful. We'll be taking up the reference of each one of them. So Lakhpat is a minor seaport. It is located at the head of Pori Creek. So it's navigable. So creeks are strategically significant, economically very prominent, navigable. This completes Kutch Plains. Then we come to Khambat Plains. Khambat Plains are the coastal plains along the shoreline of Gulf of Khambat East. Because this becomes plateau, so we don't consider that with plain. And what are the constituents that we apply with Khambat Plain? Delta deposits of Sabarmati Mai and estuarine mouths of Narmada Tapa. Draining in Rift Valley, neither Narmada nor Tapi deposits to develop delta. And that is the reason we have learned that there are multiple depositional islands that are seen in Gulf of Khambat. We selected only one name, can you help? Gandhar Islands. Gandhar Islands are not just the biggest one, they are economically also very significant because they incorporate proven reserves of hydrocarbons. So Gandhar Island gives us the reference. Now we are quickly taking Konkan and Malabar plains one by one. Can you help me? Konkan where? Konkan is Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka. And where will be our Malabar? Kerala only. Because I told you Malabar coast is a climatic region. Malabar plain is a physiographic unit. Can you help me? What will be the typical characteristics of Konkan plain? You all know this. Okay, I change my question. Konkan plains are bounded on one side by Arabian Sea and on the other side by Sahyadris. Perfect. What are Sahyadris? Mountain escarpments. I go back to my first question. What will be the typical most characteristics of Konkan plain? Shoreline of submergence. Yes, no. Shoreline of submergence. Which type of shoreline? Retreating or advancing? Retreating. Loss of land. Thus coastal plains are very narrow, and why I have opened this map clean. Continental shelves are broad. As you get towards Kerala, continental shelves becomes narrower and plains become broader. Because Kerala plains are bounded by southern hills, not mountainous stuff. Comfortable all of us? 2016 main examination general studies, you encountered a question. Why the west flowing rivers of India don't make delta? Why the west flowing rivers of India don't make delta? Now I ask conventional, average thinking student, which rivers will come in my mind when I am answering the question west flowing river? Narmada, Tapi. Why Narmada, Tapi don't form delta? Delta is formed when river tends to deposit near its mouth. River will deposit because river finds it difficult to transport the load that it is carrying. That has to do with the weaker gradient. Gradient is unfavorable. Why Narmada, Tapi are not delta forming? Because they are flowing in Rift Valley. They have sufficiently steep gradient not just to transport what they are carrying, but also erode their mouth. That is the reason they don't deposit. Average answer will pause here. You think on the geographical perspective and add. West flowing principal streams are definitely Narmada, Tapi, and this part of answer should come. But your answer should not stop here. These are also west flowing river. They are depositing, but still their deposits are very difficult for us to call delta. Because for me to qualify as a delta, I should be fine textured material, yes or no? So divide your answer into two for such type of question. One is for Narmada, Tapi, that is the principal answer, no one is denying. Why the principal west flowing river are not delta forming? Because they don't have any reason to deposit, done, kept aside. But other west flowing rivers, which are they? Of Maharashtra, of Goa, of Karnataka, are also not truly developing delta, though they are depositing. Why they are not developing delta? Go back to plateau. I have reminded complete previous week. This is my Sahyadri. This is my lumped submerged shoreline. Shoreline is submerged, so plains are very narrow. I am river Surya or Savitri. As soon as I descend to plain, I have reached my mouth. How much of the distance I am traveling? Compare that with Godavari. Godavari has got entire peninsula to cross to eventually deposit in Andhra Pradesh. Which textured material it will be depositing as its delta? Very fine. Why river Ganga was depositing coarser material in Rohilkhand? The distance that it travelled was very less. Mutual wear and tear among the pebbles which were subjected to flow with stream was restricted. So all these small west flowing rivers, though are depositing, their deposits are too coarse to be technically called delta. My answer automatically is enriched beyond texture. Have you understood it? Shoreline of submergence says it all. Shoreline of submergence means my plains are very narrow. You all know Western Ghats, Sahyadris are national water divide number 4 and 5. It is separating flow of west, small rivers, east, big rivers. These small rivers don't have that lengthy long profile. They descend, reach their mouth. So which type of deposit they will be depositing? Coarser. And coarser deposit technically fail to qualify as delta. Box information. What you are writing now, you will put it in box. Additional information. All these small west flowing rivers, I'll just repeat that Sharvesh. All these west flowing small rivers, though depose as delta forming rivers because of coarser texture of deposits. Closely. Next point, Konkan plains are also characterized with tidal inlets that provide excellent conditions for natural harbors. Mahim Creek of Maharashtra, Creek, you know what it is, right? And Karwar Way of Karnataka. Pause down for a while. If I say it is mouth of river Kali Nadi, what is the appropriate term that you will suggest me in the bracket? Shabash. It is estuary, not creek. Comfortable? So Karwar Way, bracket, estuary. We'll see them on map just in a while. Last pointer, that is last category of West Coast plain. The Malabar plain. I hope you are recalling West Coast was divided into how many parts? 3. Gujarat we did on Saturday, we repeated. We have just jotted down the information about Konkan